If you walked with me on the 26th day of September 25 years ago, please stand as you're able. We made the trip and we're still walking. Great, thank you. The booklet that Pastor Tom referred to, he asked if I'd write a kind of a memoir or a summary of that day in 1999, and 12 pages later, I sent it to the church. So what was, I think, maybe expected to be a page or two grew into far more than that, and it's been my privilege, and I pray that it's significant to you. I know it is for me. I served as pastor at Resurrection Evangelical Lutheran Church in Hilliard, Ohio, for the first 8+ years of my ministry. Those were years that were consumed with rapid growth, thankfully, which brought on architects and fundraisers and contractors and construction. Truth be told, when the bishop of our church contacted me about possibly interviewing for Grace Evangelical Lutheran Church in Springfield, one of the first things that attracted me to ministry at Grace was the obvious and communicated fact that there was absolutely no plan for building or expansion. I said, wonderful, wonderful. I, along with the entire congregation at that time, actually thought that would be the case. No expansion, no building projects. But it's been said that if you want to hear God laugh, tell him you have a plan. And God's been laughing at me throughout most of my ministry with you, with this phenomenal and faithful congregation. As we have learned early on and daily since, that the best path to follow is the one cast before us by God. You provided me with countless reasons to be proud of you and to be grateful to serve as your pastor. Mentioning but a few, as Grace began to outgrow its Harding Road facility, we purchased 2 homes, with one serving as our youth center and the other torn down to add much-needed parking. Consideration and conversation began to gurgle up from the bottom to the top regarding the possibility of relocating. I remember saying in my prayers, you promised that there wouldn't be any such thing at this church. And again, I could hear God's laughter. We ultimately, by God, were provided the miraculous opportunity of purchasing these 35 beautiful acres of land, with wildlife and weather and sunsets enjoyed to the west. Exceeding all expectations, this congregation sacrificed enough money to make this purchase and this facility possible, designing this sanctuary with a rarity in worship space architecture. And I can say that I know of no other Lutheran sanctuary with nearly floor-to-ceiling clear windows, allowing us to view and enjoy the surroundings while we gather in this sanctuary for a variety of worship. Now to the remainder of my talk. When I say the 2 words, walk on, I'd like you to respond with the word grace. Just for a rehearsal, walk on. Grace. Our historic walk westward to this place we call our church home, with clergy and choir and acolytes in full robes, as we veritably marched our way behind God's leading from 21 East Harding Road to this facility. That was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for me, and I surmise everyone present on that celebratory morning, walk on. Together, God led us to extend a call to this congregation's first full-time associate pastor, a woman no less, And Pastor Beverly, the board, proved faithful and creative and was a wonderful pastoral partner, leader, and personal friend. Walk on. God led us to make the major decision to join the newly created North American Lutheran Church as we felt deserted by our former denomination. God enabled us to become what the North American Lutheran Church bishop referred to as, quote, a flagship congregation of the North American Lutheran Church, unquote. Walk on. As we walked with God, we were able to pay off our debt in record time due to the unwavering and generous financial partnership exhibited by this membership. Before long, God led us to build the community center and youth wing. That project now paid off. Walk on. Never focused only upon ourselves, we continue to bear the well-deserved reputation of being a faithful presence in this community, a congregation led to partner with many other ministries in order to accomplish, for God's sake, more together than any of us could accomplish alone. As a congregation, we build bridges, not fences, with others. Walk on. I remember in our local newspaper, there was an article about Grace not too long after we had moved here, congratulating us on our efforts and the rapid paying off of our mortgage. But I also remember that article being the catalyst for an anonymous person to write a subsequent Speak Up newspaper article, criticizing this congregation for spending all of our money on facilities and ignoring the many needs within our community. Now, I don't so much mind when someone criticizes me, but my mood rapidly changes when people criticize this congregation, and that article was no exception. I wrote a newspaper article in response to the anonymous criticism, and I, unlike the earlier writer, included my name and phone number, correcting the inaccurate record of our efforts, enumerating the more than 100 ministries Grace was supporting at the time, and inviting the nameless person to give me a call. I had hoped we actually would meet and discuss what apparently was our mutual love for this community and how together we might continue addressing this community and the needs all around us. Sadly, some people prefer anonymity over shared ministry. Walk on. God continues to lead this congregation, and we do well to continue our faithful following of the one who has made this all possible. My late father used to say, God always pays for what he orders, and this is what he has ordered. God has blessed and continues to richly bless Grace Evangelical Lutheran Church. May we, by God, continue to be a blessing to others and to one another, giving what we can, doing what we can, whenever and wherever we can. As I was once told, the person who walks with God always reaches their destination. Walk on. Walk on.